Hello, folks. This is Wager Detective here. Christmas Eve, getting into the Christmas Eve. It's about 3:40 p.m. here down in Atlantic City. Bright, sunshiny day here for Wager Detective in Atlantic City. We're going to talk about this only bowl game, only really sporting action going on tonight. The Hawaii Bowl, California taking on Hawaii. We will get into this first. Hawaii, in their last 10 bowl games, they are 5-5. When you go into the game logs and click in and see what they did in those games, their last two bowl games, the games have gone under. And even more importantly, the games that they lose in these bowl games, you see the Cheez-It Bowl and you see the Holiday Bowl. I think only one of them have went over. So in the games that they lose, I think there's only one over, and the other four have gone under in this bowl in their bowl games over their last 10. And when it comes to the Hawaii Bowl, Hawaii is 5-4 all time in this bowl game. They're minus 34 points over those 9 games, which is about minus 3.8 points per game between their plus and minus. And the average score of those games is 70.3 points per game. In their last 5, in Hawaii's last 5 Hawaii Bowls, they are 2-3. Minus 10.2 points per game between their plus and minus averages, and the average score is 74 points a game. On the year this year for Hawaii, in their season, they've had 4 overs and 7 unders in their games. But we'll get into the context of that based on what they've done as far as their schedule. Let's take a look at Cal here, see what they've done. Pretty tough schedule. 72nd in the nation. 73rd in SRS. Wilcox is no longer the coach. Nick Rolovich is going to be the interim coach for this game. If you look at this schedule, they have played a pretty tough schedule, top to bottom here. If we take a look at it, let's bring that up here. Hope everybody's having a good night. Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. All right, let's take a look here. So through the schedule, my phone's acting a little slow. Okay, let's take a look at these game logs. Let's see what they've done here. Played Oregon State to start the season, then played Texas Southern, non-Division I team. Minnesota, beat them. Lost at San Diego State. Beat Boston College at Boston College. Lost to Duke. Duke was a pretty good team this year. They beat North Carolina. They went on the road and lost to Virginia Tech. That's a pretty bad loss. That didn't age well. They lost that game by 8 in double overtime. Then they lost to Virginia by 10. Then they beat Louisville by 3. And then they finished up the year by losing to Stanford. And then they did beat SMU in the last game of the year. SMU, that was probably their signature win of the year. SMU, 8-4 this year. A team that had a pretty good SOS and a very good SRS. Coached by a good coach in Brett Lashley. So we take a look at that, and then we look at their turnovers. They do have 15 turnovers on the year. Their defense has forced 13 turnovers. And let's see how they get it done here. Let me see. Passing touchdowns, they have 19 on the year, and they have 18 rushing for California. So they're a very balanced team. They've played tough competition. Relatively tough to what we're going to look at for who Hawaii played. First year in the ACC for California, and they did pretty good. They alternated wins and losses, and then in their last 5 games of the season, they were only 2-3. Like I said, that Virginia Tech loss didn't age well. They did beat Louisville. They hung tight with a good Virginia team. Okay, but if you look there, they did have 2 turnovers in that game. 2 interceptions were thrown, and that's how you lose close games there. So they're going to want to protect the ball, and the quarterback's going to have to do a better job of not turning the ball over. He does have 10 interceptions on the year. And let's see what teams do against Cal. Cal has given up only 10 passing touchdowns on the year, so that's going to be right in line with what Hawaii likes to do. They're more of a pass-heavy team that gets in the end zone by passing. So you only gave up 10 passing touchdowns on the year. That's very, very good. They went 1. I'm not going to count that game. The highlighted game is non-Division I. So they had Let me see how many games here. So they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games they've had this year that they did not give up a passing touchdown. That's pretty solid. Rushing, that is their problem here. They do not have a good rushing, stopping teams with the rush. They've given up 24 rushing touchdowns on this year. But as we're going to look into, that is not Hawaii's strength at all. Hawaii only has 10 rushing touchdowns on the year. So this game already is leaning towards Cal because they can shut down what is the strength of Hawaii. And they've played tougher competition and they've seen better quarterbacks. I mean, even the Virginia Tech loss, I mean, Drones probably played at that game. You had the kid from Virginia, the North Texas product. I forget his name. He's good. Louisville, we just seen their quarterback, Miller Moss. He's not bad. Stanford, you lose that game. But look at that. They had 3 turnovers in that game. So if you look at the games that they've lost, the Duke game, let's highlight those. So we don't even need to highlight it because it won't let me do it all at once. But 3 turnovers, 4 turnovers against top-notch teams. That was against Virginia and Duke. You lost both those games considerably, but 7 turnovers in those 2 games, really changes the dynamic there. But you did play pretty good against a Virginia offense that could put up points. 3 turnovers in that game. Again, this game's going to come down to them not turning the ball over, staying focused. I think when you've had this much time in between games to really prepare for a game, I would imagine that California is going to come in very prepared, focused for this game, and with the competition they've played, give it a good showing here. So they don't give up. California does not give up passing touchdowns. 5 games this year where they didn't give up any. If you look at rushing, they gave up 3 to SMU. SMU's a good team. They gave up 3 to Virginia with their balanced attack. That's pretty reasonable. And you gave up 4 to Duke. So you take a look at those 3 games, Virginia, Duke, and SMU. All those teams are clearly better than Hawaii. They're more balanced. They got run and pass attacks, and they're better coached, and they're just a higher level of football. Okay? If we look at let's take a look at some of the stats here for California, if we shall. Okay, so this year, first year in the ACC, they're 7-5. We take a look at this. Okay, offensively, they pass the ball 38 times a game and they rush it for 30 times a game. So they're a little bit more skewed to the pass than run by about 11 plays per game. And defensively, teams are passing it on them 31 times a game and rushing on them 34. So teams are rushing the ball 3 more plays than passes against them this year. Okay. First downs. Okay, this, that, the other. Okay, Jaron Kawhi Sagapolitelli is the quarterback for Cal. He led the conference in attempts with 453. He does have 17 touchdown passes and 9 interceptions. He's going to want to clean that up. A pretty good rating there. He's averaging 260 yards a game, which is solid. 129.8 rating. And if we look at what they do on the ground, Cal has Kendrick Raphael, 12 rushing touchdowns. He leads the charge there for California. If we look at receiving, Jacob DeJesus leads the conference in receptions with 99 of them, 892 yards on the season, and 5 touchdowns. So he leads the team with that. They also got Mason Minnie, who has 4 touchdown receptions as well. So they're balanced. 18 rushing, 19 passing, 37 from scrimmage. Defense and fumbles, if we take a look at that, take a look at these TFL. 58 tackles for loss, solid. 21 sacks, not bad. Interceptions, 8. Okay, not bad. Passes deflected, 56. Balls in the passing lane can lead to interceptions. They got 8 of them off those 56 deflections. So 1 out of every 7 passes that get deflected for Cal is leading to an interception. Basic math there. Okay, fumble recovery, 5, and forced fumbles, 5. This is where it gets a little interesting. Kicking. Is this the one? Or maybe it's not this team. Okay. They have, Chase Meyer, 9 for 12 field goals, perfect on extra points, 75%, 62 points for the team this year. And their punter, is only averaging, he's got 20 punts this year, averaging 41 a punt. Not really stellar there. Okay, let's get to this Hawaii team and see what they've done this year. Hawaii's having a pretty good year. They're 8-4 this year. If we look at the SOS, I mean, minus 5.96, that is 117th in the nation. So again, Hawaii's played less competition, stronger competition than with California. California has definitely played tougher competition. Timmy Chang is the coach. Okay, he's never been in a bowl game, as you see there. No bowls. Okay, 8-4 this year. His best year so far with Hawaii. He's been there since 2022. Okay, and if we look at this schedule, let's see what they've done, who they played. Hope we're, the eggnog should be flowing tonight. Let's take a look here. All right, game logs. Okay, so again, not a great schedule. They did play Arizona. That was a tough one, but they got beat by 34 there. They played Sam Houston, Fresno State. They beat Air Force. They did beat Utah State by a pretty good number. That's pretty solid. They beat Colorado State. Colorado State didn't make a bowl game. Take a look at Colorado State. 2-10. It's a 2-10 team they beat there. Should have cleared my cache for this. They played San Jose State, lost that game. San Diego State won that one. You lost to UNLV, and then you beat Wyoming. Wyoming didn't make a bowl game this year either. So all their teams that they've played, that they won, none of them were bowl eligible. If we look at what they do, they have 18 turnovers in the year, so they do have 3 more turnovers than what they do have 3 more turnovers than what than Hawaii has. Defensively, they force 14 turnovers of their opponents, so they're -4 in the turnover department. And you look at some of the wins. You got to really say here that turnovers. I mean, their opponents have had a turnover pretty much every game here. Let's take a look at what Hawaii does offensively, passing the ball. They do have 26 passing touchdowns, but again, California has only given up 10 passing touchdowns all year. So it's going to be a make or break situation there in that department. I believe that California playing tougher competition, seeing tougher quarterbacks and more time to prepare is going to be something to look at. And then if we look at rushing touchdowns, look at that. The weakness of California, which is giving up the rushing touchdown, is not the strength of Hawaii. They only have 8 rushing touchdowns this year, which means they've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 games without a rushing touchdown. So when you take that into consideration and you look at the game, you say to yourself, that is something that you want to keep an eye on for sure. And again, California good against the pass, and that's the strength of what Hawaii likes to do. And we take a look here. Look at these games here, 3-3, 3-3, 3. We'll start here, and we'll go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. You scored 3 touchdowns against Air Force, Utah State, Colorado State, San Jose State, and San Diego State. San Diego State, did they make a bowl this year? Let's take a look. I mean, yeah, they did. That was a pretty impressive performance, right? But again, another team that played weak competition to have a 9-3 record. Look at that, 119th in the nation. So they made a bowl, but how good, when you look at the underlying metrics, this is what these bowl games are about. We already said Hawaii is 5-4 in 9 Hawaii bowls, but they're 2-3 in their last 5. And they're losing by 10.2 points per game between their plus minus in those last 5 bowl games. And the total is soaring over the total that's set tonight. But I think that total might be a little misleading, considering the fact that Hawaii is going to be using their strength, which is passing the ball, against California that doesn't give up passing touchdowns. So it should be interesting to see what happens. Let's take a look at some of the stats here for the for Hawaii. Okay. Again, they're plus 71.7 passing yards per game, and they are minus 29 rushing yards per game. So they're clearly a pass-happy team. They pass the ball 41 times a game, and they only rush it 29 times a game. So they're plus 12 attempts passing the ball compared to the rush throughout the season on average. So when we look at that, that's something to take note of. I don't think California is just going to roll over and let these guys just do what they want. On the field, Cam Barfield leads the way with 4 touchdowns. Landon Sims has 3. And then passing, look at Jackson Harris, leads the conference with 12 receiving touchdowns, 19.7 yards of reception. And then Poffley Ashlock has 6 to come in second there on that team. But if you look at that, they want to keep an eye on Jackson Harris. He is the problem there. Hawaii does have 34 touchdowns from scrimmage this year. Defensively, take a look what they do. Tackles for loss, 65, 29 sacks, okay, 8 interceptions, 6 fumble recoveries, and 8 forced fumbles. So it's pretty comparable to Cal, but again, Cal has seen way better quarterbacks, tougher competition. And I'm not saying this quarterback isn't good for Micah Alejado. He's having a good year, 21 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and he does lead the conference in 283 passing yards a game. But if you look at the quarterback for Cal, if you could pronounce his name, he's relatively solid in his passing yards too, if you ask me. So that's going to be something that's going to be, you're going to want to look at. I think Cal can move the ball on them at will, but I don't think that's necessarily the case for Hawaii to do that. If we look at anything else that stands out here, kicking and punt returns, take a look here. Okay, so the field goal kicker for Hawaii, this is what I wanted to talk about. 25 of 26 field goals made, 96%, and leads the conference with 112 points. That's significant. That leads me to think that an under's in play here. If you have that many field goal attempts and makes and points, you're scoring, but I guess that's a reasonable number of field goals. I don't think they're gonna get in the end zone. And this kid did win an award. The AA right there stands for All-American, so he did win the All-American award. And he's a good field goal kicker. 37 of 37 for extra points, and then 25 of 26 field goals made for 96%. So that's pretty solid. But at this point, we're going to come to a conclusion here from what I've seen in the stats I've looked at. I'm going to lean to the under here. The under is set at 51.5. I think that number is kind of sharp, but I think it's a little bit high from the numbers I was looking at. Although Hawaii in their bowl games, listen, the book has to know that in their bowl games, in the Hawaii Bowl, they're 5-4, and the average score is 70.3 points per game. That's got to be kind of baked into the line, or any way you look at it. I think the fact that the total is kind of on the lower side to the naked eye, if you don't do any a lot of people, I would imagine, if you look at the ticket splits tonight, I would imagine that this is looking like more of the bets, not the money, are probably going to be on the over. But if you're playing a little sharp, which I'm going to kind of do here, I'm going to try to be sly and use my instincts here. I do believe this game does go over. I think it's just a little too high. I don't think it gets to 52. 27-24 could be the cap there. Either way you look at it. But that's going to be my call here. And as far as the side, this is so tough. I mean, it really is. If I was to lean aside here, Cal has lost their last 2 bowl games, and they're 5-5 in their last 10. It's got to it feels like it's going back to the Cal side. And if Cal wins, I think that they're gonna limit Hawaii to score, and that's how they're gonna come away. They're gonna control the tempo, control the pace. I'm gonna call my stronger play here under 51.5 in this California Hawaii game, and then I'm gonna say California gets the job done here. Now you could take them plus 1.5 at minus 120. Or you could take a money line minus 108. I'm going to take a chance here and say that California does beat Hawaii in this game, and I'm going to call a money line. So that's Wager Detective's call here at the 20-minute mark. under 51.5, and California to spring the slight upset here on the money line, minus 108. This is Wager Detective. Hit the like button, like and subscribe. Follow me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And Wager Detective, we'll talk to you soon.